Hi friends, it's Deanna here today, and I am super excited to be coming to you with another pattern hack. And this one came straight from one of our subscribers. You know, I always say, if you have a hack in mind and you want me to show it on here, comment and let me know. Well, this one subscriber wanted to know, can we do the Monday morning dress with a knit bodice, but use a woven non-stretch fabric for the skirt? So that's what we're going to try to do today. Let's get to it. Alright, so for today's tutorial, I'm using this gorgeous sage French terry. It's a rayon French terry rayon, which has really great stretch. And I'm using this beautiful woven fabric I've had in my closet for a while. I only have a little bit of it, so not a whole lot to do a full dress. So this works out perfectly. It's a very light woven. It's some kind of I don't know, chalice maybe, I'm not really sure, but I just know that it has really light weight, which I think is what we would need for this in order for this to work. I think a heavier one might not work as well, but it might still work. I just like the fact that this is going to give us a nice flow. You know, the Monday morning dress has that nice curved, I have it right in front of me. It has this nice curved bottom edge, so I think that will work really well with that. So what I'm going to do first is what I already did is I grabbed a measuring tape. The reason why I want to do that is because I want to grab right here at the top of my skirt. Well, let me back up. Let me say this. I think the reason why this will work with a woven skirt, it will not work with a woven bodice because a knit bodice has negative ease, which means that it's usually tighter on the body. So that means that if you used woven, it doesn't stretch. So you'd be like this, you know, where if you can even get it on. So with a skirt, if we want to try to see if a skirt is going to work as a woven, what the first thing we need to figure out is it a skirt that's gathered at the waist? Is it a skirt that's going to fit? The second thing is it a skirt that's going to fit through up my hips? Now you have to take that into consideration because woven will not stretch. So if it doesn't have enough gathering to go through your hips, by your hips, it will not do it once you sew it on. So you have to make sure of that first. So what I did is I grabbed my skirt, my size of my skirt, I make a medium. Oh no, actually this is a small. So on the Monday morning, I make a small, and I hope it fits because I made this a while ago. I haven't made a Monday morning in a while. Maybe I should size up. We'll see. Anyway, the first thing I did was I measured the waist seam of the skirt. Now it's ×4 because it's cut in the fold and it's a front and a back. So you measure the top, you times it by 4, and then you subtract seam allowances. You've got a seam allowance over here and a seam allowance over here, so you gotta subtract 1/4 inch times 4. No, times 2, because it's 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch. Yeah, so you're gonna subtract that. And that, depending on that measurement, how big that measurement is, you wanna grab that. You can either, what I did is I just grabbed my measuring tape and folded around that measurement and made sure that it went around my hips. You obviously can just measure your hips and see how wide your hips are and make sure that this measurement is bigger or at least as big as your hips. So it will go up without you having to stretch. If it's not big enough, then you're gonna have to add more space at the waist, so you're gonna have to gather it more. So you could size up on the skirt, you'll just have a bigger gathering at the skirt, and then you will be able to do that because the bodice will stretch and the skirt is gonna have to stretch as well to fit. So I think this is gonna work, like I said, because I measured and it is bigger than my waist, than my hip line. But that's the first thing that you need to do before you move on to the next step. So now that we've got that, we're literally, since it was bigger than my hips and I don't have to change anything, we're just gonna go ahead and sew this up like I would the regular Sunday morning, and then we're gonna try it on and see what happens. So let's do it. All right, we're gonna start by cutting, and I'm cutting the bodice, like I said, from the knit, and I'm cutting the skirt from the woven, just like it is. I like my waistband a little bit, my waist to hit a little bit higher than the pattern, so that's why I'm folding it up right here. But that's just personal preference. Let's start by putting the bodice together at the shoulders and the side seams. Now we can also prep our neck bands and our arm bands by folding them right sides together and sewing that short raw edge. I'm also going to grab my skirt and prep that by sewing the two sides together. Because I'm using a woven, I'm going to go in first to my sewing machine and sew the seam allowance, and then I'm going to finish the raw edge with my serger after that. Oh, I forgot we're doing pockets. We need to make sure we attach our pockets first. We're gonna place our pocket right sides together along the edge of our fabric. I'm doing them 2 inches off the top. Now we're going to attach our bands by quartering our bands and our neck area and our arm size and attaching them right sides together. We have a video on how I get my neck bands, how I do my neck bands. So if you want to check that out, it's called Bands, 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 and it's here on our YouTube channel. Alright, so I'll attach those, and I'm also going to grab my skirt front and back and attach at the right sides like I was going to before I forgot that the pockets need to be attached first. While I'm at the serger, I'm going to run a serge edge at the bottom of my skirt, because then I'm just going to fold it up and top stitch it. So you could either do a 1/4 inch up, a 1/4 inch up, or I'm just going to finish the raw edge and then turn it up once. Alright, I changed my stitch to a long basting stitch, and we're going to put in a gathering basting stitch at the top of our skirt. Leaving a long tail at the end. So now we're going to grab our bodice and find a half and sew our skirt, find the half of our skirt, and we're going to gather our skirt to fit our bodice. Alright, now once it's gathered, we're going to attach right sides together. I'm also going to go ahead and get the hem ready and hem. Well, actually, let me do this first and then I'll hem. Alright friends, we are done with this cute dress. It worked out perfectly. I added a little sash at the waist. It's just really like a little tie sash, just because to break it up from the solid color to this striped color. I think I just like the sash in the middle. So I think it's all finished. See, it looks super cute. Bo likes it. He's coming in here. He always likes to come and say hello to you all when it's when I'm done sewing. Just lay down. But anyway, how cute does this turn out? I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't, so you never miss any of our tutorials. Comment below and let me see what things you want to see, a tutorial that you've been thinking about that you want to see if it works. Let me know, and I may make a video out of it. I hope you have a good day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!